Byfleet Manor in Surrey, ready for the Vintage Garden Tea Party run by Vintaged. Fans of Dowton Abbey may recognise Byfleet Manor as it serves as Dowager Violet's home in the hit show. This is Sadie Doherty for the Vintage News.
How long have the Nightingales been together for?
We've been together for about a year now.
How did it come about?
Well, we're best friends, aren't we? Yes. So, and we've worked in shows before in all over, yeah. And it's kind of been a project we've been talking about for many years, isn't it? So we thought, given the fact we're best friends, we both love singing, we like the same sort of music as well, don't we?
And the time was right because we've both been off doing our own things for a little while. So, so we actually trained together. So we've known each other for a very long time. As always said, this is something we'd like to do, and yes, so now we finally found the right time and got together, and it's all been coming together really nicely.
Yeah, we do the vintage style music and then we do more contemporary stuff, so we can sort of cross over and do lots of different events. We do black tie events, lots of weddings, don't we?
Yeah, we did a Bond event recently.
Yeah,
James Bond dinner.
That was different.
Sang a bit of the Big Diva stuff.
Yeah, and all afternoon teas. Absolutely love it because I think our music suits it really nicely.
Yeah.
Tea Vintage, we are a travelling tea room basically, so we've got this 1940s tea room set, which has got walls, windows, curtains, the lot, and we basically go around to some really good high profile events. We do Chris Evans' Car Fest, we're travelling with Cliff Richard in June, we're touring with him, and we kit out the marquee with tables, chairs, crockery, and we go around and offer afternoon teas, cream cakes, and obviously we don't do coffee. Sometimes we do. Coffee's a bit like a blasphemy word.
Oh yeah.
We're too tense. And we just, it's an experience. We're a selling experience really. So, and I must admit, going to some of these big festivals, people love the fact they can come in and sit down. They can have a cup of tea.
You're transporting an entire tea room?
An entire tea room, basically. So we started off as that, so that's how we started off. And then a lot of people loved our styling, they loved what we did, and loved the experience when they sort of saw us as the tea room. And then wanted to have afternoon tea for 6, for 10, for hen parties, for christenings. And of course, with the epic size of the tea room as it is, and it takes hours in a team of 12 to run, the boys in the back in the kitchen and the girls in the front looking glamorous. Yeah. We decided to then sort of go into more afternoon teas, but not just with crockery on the table, but props and use experiences in like with the 1940s Post magazines, and all the different retro games you can play, and just create the experience in that way. And obviously then we met Julie at Byfleet, and then we said we could do garden parties here, vintage weddings, so it's snowballing into anything vintage to do with tea and cake basically. I absolutely live and breathe what I do. Since I would say about 5 or 6, I got a picture of me with rollers in my hair. My nan said to me, "You were born in the wrong era, love." I think it's a mishmash of everything really. I used to be a set dresser and prop maker in the film industry, and just obviously with the love of everything vintage, I then put the two together and decided to do something with things I can make and display, and my love of what I do, and then Tea Vintage was created. Okay. I like what tea does. It's a hug in a mug or in a cup, basically. Yes. I love what it makes you feel. I love that most people, they might go out to Costa Coffee in the afternoon, but you can guarantee they'll have a cup of tea to start their day in the morning, and it still is the #1 drink.
So of all of the teas that one can now buy, which would have to be your favourite?
Okay, now I have to say we've done so many taste testings, and there's nothing wrong with a bit of a tea bag sometimes. I'm not a tea snob whatsoever. I'm quite happy with the builder's tea, and the best builder's tea for anyone out there has to be Yorkshire tea.
How are you enjoying the day so far?
It's fabulous, having a really nice time. I think everybody is, and that's what the house loves and what we love.
So first thing I've got to ask is, we are in the Downton room. How did that all come about?
Several years ago, somebody just knocked on the door and asked if we were interested in filming, and I said yes, of course, anything helps to maintain the house, was the way I always look at this. And we did an episode of Poirot and then Cranford, and the location manager for Downton worked on Cranford, so he already knew the house was of the exact and the room was of the period they were looking for.
Is it strange seeing your house on television?
very much so. If it's inside, you know, people will not particularly recognise it, but when it's shot from the outside, then it does make you jump a bit and think, oh gosh.
How did the vintage tea parties come about?
Something I've always wanted to do. I mean, the house loves having people, it loves having parties, and we were thinking of where we could, and of course lots of visitors who are immense fans of Downton Abbey wanted to come and visit, and we thought this would be the ideal way of doing it. And then I was fortunate to meet Marie, whose company is Tea Vintage, and she dresses everything in 40s style, and that's how it began.
So have you got many more events planned over the summer?
Yes, we have 2 more open vintage tea parties coming up. But you can also book for your private parties, for birthdays, etc. Private afternoon teas, which is nice. And of course our pop-up restaurant, which happens intermittently and is amazing food.
We were told that that Byfleet Manor is opening up for, I believe, some pop-up tea parties, and I must say this is an absolutely delightful surrounding in which to have such, certainly when they've got a little bit of musical accompaniment, which is fantastic. I believe they're also going to start offering this as a wedding venue, and I must admit the grounds here look like you could certainly stage something quite interesting.